And we are recording. Okay,
So right now we're live.
we're
We're
live.
recording
So I should be on. Let me check. I should be, if I did it right, I should be on the podcast streaming. I had it where it's letting the code, I think. Making sure I have it right. Oh, did I do the page? Let me see.
The power of Grayskull.
I got to start working on my plugs for Yes You Can podcast. Do you want to annoy people with the sound of your voice every day across the world? Do you think you have something important to say that someone may want to hear it? Go to yesyoucanpodcast.com today and sign up. Annoy your friends and family.
Okay, so I don't see it. So
Be an online celebrity today. Just leave your credit card number and your ass at the door. Sign up today. Give me your soul. John, when you do the show, you might want to move your camera down a little bit so we don't see the top of your nose and the top of your head. It looks like I'm talking to a penis.
oh, wait a minute. You know what? I wonder if did I might not have. Dang it! Click. Okay.
So when this thing goes live, right? When you hit the record button and we're in here,
Mm-hmm.
so we can only have 3 co-hosts,
Right.
unless we have someone pulled in through Skype.
Right. That's how I do it.
Okay, so if I want to pull Yardley in here
Mm-hmm.
for the episode, because I'm not sure if he's going to make it or not. I got to tell him the right time. I would just have to fire up Skype and then bring, or do you put Skype on your end or is it on my end?
No, I do. It would be on my end.
Okay.
So I have like another computer. So what I do is I have, I just have it where, when I bring someone in, they can hear you and you can hear them. And, I'm going to test that out as well. Make sure that that's working well as well. So, but I'm trying to see. I think I might not have, when I made this room, I think I didn't set it to where it would broadcast on those other platforms. So that was my bad. The other ones I know are set that way. So.
Is Yardley on any other shows that you know of for the 24-hour podcast?
You know what? I told him if he's around and we're doing something, just to hop in. He's been so busy lately. So
yeah. He was asking me. We were talking about it yesterday, and I just let him know that we're on for Sunday at 11 Eastern. So I'll see if he's gonna come on. He wasn't sure. He said he would like to, but
yeah, he's a busy man.
Yeah.
Listen, we have Big Bad. Oh, hey, Big Bad Brad, how you doing? So, right. Big Bad, do you know about tomorrow night at midnight? The 24-hour podcast? Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing 24 hours straight of programming starting midnight Eastern. So, basically, Sunday morning. In the middle of the night. So if you can, drop by. We're going to have a good time. Yeah, I got a fresh haircut, too.
I should get a haircut, too. John, you need to cut your hair, buddy. You look like an absolute slob.
What? Stop this.
Your beard looks nice. I'm glad you got the beard going again.
It's winter.
You've inspired me.
I need to be
I'm
ready.
trying to grow the Tony Stark beard from like.
I don't know if you can though. I don't know if you can.
I don't think I can.
I'll be
I grow
honest.
like patches. Like I'll get it thick here, but not here.
This is like a northern. You gotta be northern to have a beard like
Correct.
this.
I got to be northern. Bitch.
Yeah, you look familiar though. Like, have we met before?
I don't think so. No,
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
I couldn't. Yeah, could have sworn. I'm gonna assume you like Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I'm gonna jump out on the ledge there. Yeah.
We're gonna go to Ice and Fire Con this year.
Where's that?
Deer Creek, Ohio convention. It's not a huge convention. It's like a smaller one, but it's nice because a lot of podcasters in the Game of Thrones world go, and a lot of the crazy fans. I don't know if
Are you
Julie-
going, Julie? Is Julie going?
No, I'm not going.
So I know John and Tran, you guys are going to do a couple panels, right?
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
You guys submitted your panels.
Yes.
We're talking about recording
Trin did.
live. We're going to be there Sunday night when they air. What'll be episode 3?
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Did you guys like the last season?
Oh yeah.
Last
Very
season of Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah, so many people complained about the last season. I thought it was
They're
amazing.
complaining because they had to wait 2 years for the next one.
No, I mean people said, "Oh, it got stupid" and all of this stuff. I'm like, I thought the last season was great. I had such a wonderful
Me
time.
too. I love last season.
I think
Oh,
last
God,
season.
don't get him started.
I can understand what they're saying because if you look at the progression, and this is something we talked about in the show not too long ago, you look at the progression of Thrones from the beginning. You have the intro of the White Walkers and they coming out the wall, and there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of that darkness, and then you have a very gritty show with little to no magic until season 2, and then the magic starts coming a little bit. When the dragons are born. And you get some more magic, and then the magic gets more and more and more and more. Well, I call it magic, but the fantasy starts to get thicker and thicker and thicker. And then finally, the last season, it's like you got these White Walkers all over the place. You got the living dead. You got dragons flying around shooting blue shit, and it's like, wow, we went from very gritty, almost reality type of show, minus the very first scene, to this real magical fantasy. It went from like almost real to Lord of the Rings. And I think they did a good job progressing it. It depends on who you ask, because if you ask book people think the show's terrible. Like
Book people are so purist. That's the problem.
But I don't think they get it though. Book people.
Well, it's like
No,
anything.
Because
How do you make
you
those
don't.
books into a TV show that translates the same? I don't think you can do that without it being.
No, but you're not. I think what book people don't realize is when doesn't matter whether it be books or comic books or something, you're making it for the people that aren't the fans because there's more of them than there are. There's more book fans than there are book fans. So when you make something, you're essentially making it for them more than anyone. If that makes any sense.
For the non-book fans.
Yeah, because you have to appeal when you're making something. Let's say whatever be Game of Thrones or comic books, you already know you're gonna get those fans because they're gonna want to watch it because they're a fan of it through the books. So you're appealing more to the non-fans who've never even heard of Game of Thrones or whether it be Batman or whatever. So that's why I think people don't realize when they say, "Well, it's not the same like in the books." Well, because you're not doing it for those guys, you're doing it for the non-fans.
No, I
that makes any sense.
I agree. Well, it's the same thing when they make movies.
Yeah, like if you're making a Batman movie, you're gonna get the Batman fans, but now you have to get the people
they're going to complain.
who've never seen Batman, right? So it's always gonna be you're never gonna get the exact book to movie or book to show type thing. I don't understand. So
Yeah, it's very difficult to get that to be the same. It's like when they did the Harry Potter movies, when they translated from the books. There's a lot of stuff left out. It was necessary, but they had to. They had to leave it out because there's just too much detail, too much stuff. And they did a good job.
you have to. You can't take Like you can't take a book right to anything. Like even a comic book. If you took a comic, I have people all the time saying, "Why can't it be like the comics?" Well, if you took a comic book, put a movie, it's 50 minutes. The movie's only 50 minutes. It's really tough to do that.
Did you see the new Reign of Superman movie that came out?
I'm waiting for it to get on Blu-ray, but yeah,
I'm gonna have to review that because I'm waiting.
Yeah, the Superman was nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind
Best
doing
version of it.
I,
Best version.
I wouldn't mind reviewing some of the DC
No,
animated
we're going to.
films on Nerd Theater because I want to do Dark Knight Returns. I want to do Flashpoint Paradox. So
We'll do the animated stuff and we'll do everything. As long as it's nerd related. I'm not going to review 50 Shades of Grey because I live there.
Oh,
no,
I'm Chris.
wait a minute. Your last name is Gray, so you got to do it.
They stole it from me. I had a book. called
so you're saying this is based on your life?
Oh
then?
yeah,
Shades of
absolutely.
Grey. You're a secret billionaire,
When I
right?
arrive at my
You're not just telling her.
Another girl say, "Oh, come on in, girl." That's exactly what happens. Come on into the gray, and I got it in the hair too. So
I want to review the John Wick movies too.
yeah, that'll work. We can do that. But what I'm
The third one looks so
we're not gonna
sick.
do
I can't wait.
Yaha's
You know
sister
what?
traveling.
What
fan.
cracks me up about John Wick is
What?
everybody cried about the dog that gets killed in the beginning, but the 150 humans that got shot in the face,
Yeah,
you know, it's like fuck them.
Because animals.
Can't mess with the guys.
Then-
The puppy, man. It's a puppy too. It's not even a dog. It was a puppy. You killed a puppy, man, and now he's
Oh,
gonna.
but the
And you
100
stole his car.
but the 150 people that got shot in the face is like fuck them.
Yeah, no, we don't care. It's all.
Well, they're bad people though. But they're bad people that killed a puppy. I
They're
mean,
just working. They weren't. I mean, not everybody was evil. Some of them, that was their gig. They were a bodyguard. You know, sometimes you're a bodyguard for assholes. They deserve to
your bodyguard. The whole point is to die if you're a bodyguard,
be like.
right? Like your whole point is to take a bullet for your boss.
It's like, oh, like people say, I stopped watching that movie when I saw the puppy. I'm like, really? It's a movie. They didn't kill a real puppy, you know.
I think the puppy was like the final straw for him because he lost his wife, and then his puppy died. They stole his car, and he's like, he just snapped.
You know, the woman who delivered the puppy in the first John Wick movie that delivered it.
Yeah,
I know her, and she was my first guest on the Spotlight Hollywood edition. So
awesome.
yeah, I didn't even remember. I was like, when I was watching John Wick again, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You were the one that delivered the. She was the delivery girl. Or whatever.
Hey, do you ever talk to anybody from Hell on Wheels still?
Kevin Davey.
I missed that show.
I just talked to Kevin Davey. We had Phil. We interviewed Phil again. I mean, I can talk to pretty much anyone that was on the show, like regulars. I
missed that show.
I do too. But did you see what Anson Mount's doing now? He's on Discovery, Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
Star Trek
Discovery. You know, it's funny. He's a weird guy. He's kind of a weird guy. I mean, I guess.
Well, when he was in Inhumans, the fucking show was a bomb.
Oh Lord,
Was that show good?
That was terrible.
no.
Terrible.
I watched the whole season. It was still terrible. I don't know why I watched the whole season.
I
But it
like
was
Anson
terrible.
Mount though.
I do. I like
better
him too.
as the Hell on Wheels character, although I think he looks cool as a captain on a starship. But I think that what CBS did with making that show only available on their CBS streaming, they need to get fucked.
Well, we get it in Canada too. We get it in Canada on a regular channel.
I have to pirate it because I'm not paying for another streaming service.
What show are we talking about?
Well,
Star Trek.
I had to pirate Titans, and I just found out it's
Dude,
on.
I have
It
to-
came on
I have
Netflix.
to pirate Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek's awesome.
Yeah, 'cause I can't watch it.
It's a Canadian show. It's awesome. You should watch
CBC,
Kim's
baby.
Convenience.
Canadian
You should watch
Broadcast
Kim's
Company.
Convenience.
Brand. Did you?
Yes,
Kim
CBC.
Convenience?
They have the best They are the best hockey games. I don't
Well, I
care.
wish I
They're
could
the
get
best
that,
hockey
but I
games.
can't get that. Because like trade deadline,
You should
and I
watch.
want to watch the trade deadline stuff, but I can't get it.
Well, if you watch Trade Deadline TSN,
No,
which is our,
but the problem is like all I get is the NHL Network.
I know it's
And
funny because I want to watch
I don't
ESPN.
want TSN.
I would.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
funny.
anything of what you guys are talking about.
because I want ESPN. I'm like you. I want ESPN, and I can't get it.
Yeah.
But you should watch. If you like Schitt's Creek, watch Kim's Convenience.
That's the tampon commercial.
Yeah.
No, stop. But you might like Kim's Convenience, Julie.
I'll check it out.
It sounds like either
It should be on Netflix. It's on our Netflix. I don't know if it's on yours.
Oh,
so
look.
it's not there.
Yeah.
Punisher season 2 is
how
out.
do you know that? I was just there. I watched 4 episodes
Let me
today.
ask you a nerd question, Chris.
Go.
Do you feel like nerds of today are they're not like nerds of the past? Nerds of the past, I feel like they really died on the cross for this nerd shit.
They did.
Nerds now, they seem to have like a much better life. Life, it seems like it's much better for nerds now than when I was coming up. The last thing you wanted to be called was a nerd. It was like the death knell. Now it seems like everyone claims
It was until they came out with the nerd movies. So I remember growing up where it was like nerds are, but then when they came out with Nerds and then Revenge of the Nerds, it was cool because like they got hot chicks in that movie. So then people didn't like think nerds sucked anymore.
But it was also, I mean, the popular movies now are comic book movies, right? Like the popular movies now are Marvel movies, and people. Yeah. So that's kind of too. You know, video games are bigger now. You know.
Uh-oh.
So.
No. It just seems like nerds of the past really had to represent for the nerd. Now it just seems like there's a lot of fake nerds. You know, like a lot of people who claim the culture and all of that. They're not really nerds.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, I came up with a term. Some people have nerd tendencies. They're not really nerds. They have nerd tendencies.
I was a nerd who played sports. So I heard I was a nerd who played sports in high school. Like I was reading, I played football and I was reading comics in the locker room. So
being a nerd when I was younger meant that you had to be either you were a nerd and no one was your friend, or you were a nerd and nobody knew it except for maybe one or two of your friends that you got to be like closet nerds with. But it wasn't until way after Fantastic Four movies came out, I'm going to say, if I had to put a date on it, I would say it wasn't starting to become popular to be a nerd until I'm going to say maybe, I don't know, Avengers. Maybe
to be popular to be a nerd, but it became more culturally acceptable in, I would say, the early 2000s.
Okay. Well, then you know, because anime really took off in America.
Anime took off, exactly. Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff.
You know, there was a lot of good stuff, but
yeah,
it became more and more pop culture. You would go into Walmart and there's a whole bunch of superhero shirts on the wall, and you know.
Well, I think a lot of MMORPGs help with that too. Like EverQuest was super huge, and then a couple years later, you had World of Warcraft that was like.
But a lot of gamers
lining up around the block for.
You got to be careful with that. A lot of gamers consider themselves gamers. They're not really nerds.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that the culture is shifted, where you didn't have to hide the fact that you like comic books. You didn't have to hide the fact that you watched, Batman like religiously. Like you didn't have to hide that.
It's because it's popular now. It's also, look, what's the most popular show on TV? Game of Thrones. 20 years ago, that would have been considered, that would be like a nerd fantasy thing, right? Like now, Game of Thrones is huge.
But I still say, we go back. There's still the original, and the Star Wars was still the original. Like the geeked out.
Yeah,
that was original.
But now everyone loves Star Wars.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
No, not everyone loves Star Wars anymore.
I love Star Wars. I still love Star Wars.
I'm talking about the originals, but you had Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and you had Star Wars, and like that was really like getting the ball rolling.
Anyone notice how no one says Star Trek?
Because
Star Trek's lame.
Star Trek
it didn't age well.
It didn't age well.
It doesn't age well.
It wasn't
didn't age well at all.
Then. Like the original TV series was kind of shit, and the movies were garbage.
It's fun. Well, it depends on the movie.
They didn't get
like the new movies.
Star Trek
I like
get good until Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, but then it got stupid.
I think it didn't age well. It didn't age well. I think the themes and stuff did not age
Voyager was kind of. Voyager was, I didn't like.
I never watched Star Trek. I wasn't a Trekkie. You were.
Me too. I was a Wars. I was a fanboy.
Why is there some bullshit misconception that you can either
you can't
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Like I don't get me wrong. I watched Star Trek Discovery and I watched the new movies Star Trek, but
because no
I'm still
offense,
a Wars guy.
I'm probably gonna be like pissing people off. Star Wars, Star Trek. It's not even.
It's true.
It's not even close.
Star Wars is
Star Wars.
Way better.
Where was Star Wars?
Star Wars is up here. Star Trek is here.
That's interesting. It seems like Star Trek. Maybe Star Trek there was like a long stretch where they were a lot of those bad movies that were coming out. Like what's the one where like the Save the Whales movie?
Oh Lord! See, you can't tell me
you can only play Klingon so many times.
Right.
Before it's like, oh god, okay, we're at this again. I will say this though, the reboot, like those, not the reboot, but the current Star Trek movies, the ones that just happened. I'm not a Trekkie at all. When I watched those, I was like, yo, this is lit. Like the ones J.J. Abrams did, I thought, dude, these are legit.
Yeah, and Star Trek Discovery, they touched on something great, but they never kind of followed up on it. They started a war with Klingons, and I was like, I want to see where this goes, and they kind of didn't really like. I want to see like a full, John. Like they were doing a full war with Klingons. I want to see that. Like if I'm like
new Klingons or the next generation Klingons, or like the old Klingons, which one look better?
I don't know. I could care. You know what? Because because Star Trek Discovery is like the first actual Star Trek show I watch. I go with the new one because that's the only one.
Oh, real quick, I want to say hey to Joseph. He's welcomed us to Get Vocal.
Hi,
Joseph.
What's up? What's up, buddy?
For those who don't know, tomorrow night at midnight, which is Saturday night, which is really Sunday morning, we will be starting a 24-hour straight broadcast for podcasting. So there'll be a lot of different kind of shows. You can check us out. So please make sure you guys come on Indy Radio 24 hours straight of podcasting. You won't have to look at me for 24 hours straight, but I will be in the mix quite a bit.
You can look at this right here. Look at this. And on your network, Kente, Total Nerd Takeover Studios is going to be relaunching Nerd Theater.
There we go.
With Aquaman review.
Yes, with Aquaman.
But you know what? It's funny though.
Which is a good movie.
Okay, going against Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Yes, let's go back to this one.
Star Wars has the more iconic characters than Star Trek. Star Trek has some iconic characters, but I would say the Star Wars characters are more iconic.
Okay, this is why Star Wars
one of the greatest villains of all time.
This is why Star Wars is better. Lightsabers. That's all you need to know.
Done. Well, you can also say Darth Vader.
Ignorant would say that.
Come on. Force choke from a distance. Come on. Force choke is the greatest move ever. Like, I mean, that I wish I had that ability to do force choke. That's awesome.
No, I'm glad you don't, because I would be dead.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I wouldn't do that to you, Chris.
All I know is that Star Trek is.
Yes, you prefer spot grip.
Star Trek is cool.
Okay, so Luke Skywalker versus Captain Kirk. What's a more iconic character?
Luke Skywalker.
Well, okay, so that's hard because they're both, extremely magnanimous characters, and the actors are equally as. So that's hard. That's difficult.
He doesn't need a Jean-Luc Picard.
How about this question? Who would you rather live? Which universe would you rather live in? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
I want a lightsaber. I want force choke.
Star Wars.
I want lightsaber. I want force choke, man.
Average person.
I'm sorry. I want that shit.
Okay, hold on. The average person in Star Wars lives on a piece of shit ship or on a planet where you're a slave. That's asshole. The average person in Star Trek,
unless you have force power. Wait. We can even go into expanded universe. You could be a Mandalorian.
Hold on, we're not.
Buddy,
why would you want to be a Mandalorian?
Exactly.
Because Mandalorians are badass.
Hold on,
they are badass. Thank you, Julie. You were
now.
Yes,
walk into a holodeck.
Come on, buddy. And Star Wars backstory is probably
You guys are looking at.
I mean, I'm sorry, Star Wars.
Imagine if you had to live there, you would.
I want to live on Naboo.
Jabba the Hutt.
I want sand. I hate sand.
Dancing around for him half naked. That's what you would be. You wouldn't be Jedi John. You would be the average.
Yes, I would.
Ho hum.
I'd be Darth John. I'd be Darth Stark. It'd be awesome.
Or you could be like Finn, working in sanitation.
I would rather live in Star Trek because it's such a no money, no STDs to worry about. If you break your arm, they go bzzz, and you're fixed.
Ben,
life expectancy
Ben says
for the universe and holodecks.
Ben says that Star Trek did make TV history a few times, but Star Wars. I mean, what isn't? So much people. I mean, so many careers were influenced by Star Wars. So many. I mean, it changed the game. So I mean, it's hard to say which one.
Star Wars completely changed everything.
Right.
When it came to special effects, like. I know Chris doesn't like George Lucas because he's a bad writer. I get that, all that. But think about what he created in a time when that was not possible. Like, nobody was able to do, like, no other movies at that time. And I think the first Star Wars came out, 77?
You could say he created the blockbuster.
Like that.
Well, okay, who was the better genius, Gene Roddenberry or George Lucas?
George Lucas. Think about it. He's got Lucasfilms, THX, he's created some of the most amazing shit. He may not be a very good writer, and I'll agree with that. His writing is shit. He's not really a good director.
He can't write.
He created.
You're telling me the turkey neck. I can't stand him. I'm sorry. He created the universe, but I don't think you didn't make the universe amazing. It was all the fan fiction, the fans.
No, whoa, time out. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what he created in terms of how he set the bar for special effects. He was the jumping off point is what I'm talking about. No, legit. We all know that Star Wars has its longevity and all that because of, all the other people creating parts for the expanded universe and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is I'm going based upon special effects and all that stuff. He was the one who elevated the bar. Not just with special effects, but also with special effects sound. Because THX is literally in every fucking movie.
If you look at all the credits of movies, Lucas sound is in every movie.
Skywalker
DC,
sound,
everything. Skywalker sound, Luke, whatever. You'll see Lucas on almost every big blockbuster special effects movie. There's either going to be a Skywalker sound or a Lucas something. He could have made so much more money when he sold to Disney. That's a steal. $4.5 billion.
Exactly.
And then Disney not only made that up, they probably already doubled their money from making he sold that. I think could have made more money, but he sold that cheap, 4.5. Today, that's Star Wars probably worth $10 billion. Yeah. I mean, you name me someone that starts
but they're making tons of money.
Definitely.
It's a license to print money, and Disney is he creates something. You could say he created the big movie toy combination thing with Star Wars toys. Merchandising
ridiculous for Star Wars.
You can say this one I'm not sure about.
And Darth Vader, a Kenner.
I'm not sure. He might have been behind. He's probably the reason why blockbuster films exist, because I may not be right about that, but he might have been behind creating the blockbuster film as we know it now. So I could be wrong with that, but all that's him, man.
It was the jumping off point. That's what it was. Yeah. It was innovative. And then you look at all the TV shows and all that stuff, all that special effects stuff that followed. You wouldn't have, half the movies you have today if the growing pains didn't go through with Lucasfilms.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
So this is coming from, just my personal experience. You guys are literally hitting all the points right on the head. Lucasfilm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and your background is awesome. My son loves the Hulk. It's his favorite.
Oh, well, I'll pull out the camera here in a minute. I'm playing Call of Duty at the moment. I'm in blackout. I'm not caught and I can't do anything. So, But if you look at it from a pop culture standpoint, let's peel it back a little bit. Yes, Lucasfilm at the time invented technologies and sound and cinematics and prosthetics that were literally cutting edge and ultimately paved the way to science fiction today as we know it, right? But if you get back to the storyline and boundaries and breaking boundaries, Gene Roddenberry created something that nobody else had seen to date. And Gene Roddenberry literally pushed boundaries in terms of culture, race, and ethnicity. It was the first time that a white character kissed a black character on public television. And so you look at this in a cultural dynamic. Star Trek created a platform and a storyline that Star Wars utilized and just took it to the next level.
I agree with that 100%.
And if you look at now, and I do this for a living. I'm a pop culture historian, so I do all kinds of really great lectures on the history of comics, the history of science fiction. And Gene Roddenberry, the media that he created, ultimately was a catalyst, a thumbprint for George Lucas, not only to corner the film industry with Lucasfilm, but if you look at it very closely, up until then, we only had G.I. Joe, the 12-inch figure. When Kenner came online, George Lucas also invented the toy market as we know it today with the first ever Star Wars line. And that's when the people were rushing to the stores to get their Star Wars toys. That had never happened in history. So not only did he create a film industry based off of previous science fiction industries, he also created a toy line that literally spawned an entire era. And we are here today doing cons because of both Roddenberry and Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had some of those Kenner toys still.
Here, I'm going to show you my room. I'm going to show, this is the Comic Man Cave. So if you look
I'm too young for that.
If you look on Instagram, hashtag Comic Man Cave, here.
Oh my God.
Holy
that's awesome.
shit.
Holy shit. I'm jealous.
I'm legit jelly.
So I have.
I'm jealous. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Are those
Chris,
Hot
do
Toys?
You see that?
I do.
Those are Sideshow collectibles.
So one
those
case.
are like.
Here's the other case.
Those are like $300 plus.
Holy
those are expensive.
crap.
Oh my God.
That puts my Star Wars shit to shame, bro.
Right? It puts my stuff to shame, man.
Oh, Stan Lee.
Oh, that's.
Yo, that's lit.
Here's my certificate to be able to teach the history of comics in pop culture, signed by Stan Lee and Michael Uslan.
Where was this when where was a teacher on comics when I was a young? What the? Come on,
dude.
Hate this. Where was this when I was a kid? Where was the teacher that taught comic book pop culture history?
You know what? We've gotten to an era now where pop culture and comics.
I know.
Is at a
yeah.
We're at a medium where this can happen now. And, I'm very blessed because I took this curriculum course through Smithsonian, and now I can kind of jump on board. And conversations like this, I just like, ooh, I can add something to that. So, cool. Thanks. I don't want to hog up the space. I'm gonna take the sidebar and listen, but love the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you for joining in.
I'm so legit jelly right now. I don't even know what to do.
See, I wish I was a kid now.
I'm so jelly.
Want some statues in there.
Everything's
Bro, did you
changed,
see the Superman one?
Yes.
Yo.
Those are Hot Toys. You know how expensive Hot Toys are? Like,
come on.
You know how expensive Hot Toys are?
Well, I have.
Those are like. Huh?
I have some I don't have anything.
Dude, the Superman one was.
Because if those are sideshow collectibles, those are like.
Yo, the sideshow one that I want is the Grand Admiral Thrall.
This is only Gentle Giant, but
those are like $200 plus. They range from $200.
They're like $300. Like, look.
Yeah. I can't show you. Can I?
I'll show
you. I have
a
bookshelf of yours, but. Huh?
The Darth Vader. You got that at Comic-Con. I forget where we got.
Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can turn over. I don't know if you can see this.
Yo, this is so fucking heavy, by the way.
That's the one we got.
The lights coming on?
That's the one we got.
That's my collection right there.
No, the lights
you can see it.
Damn it. Yeah, they only made
you see that shelf?
So much of these.
Well, that's mine.
Sometime you're going to have to come down to go to Comic-Con New York with us, John.
Well, I have all my Star Wars stuff is in a bin right now because I'm getting get shelves to put it all up on. So
I don't have as much stuff displayed like I did in the old studio because most of this studio is set up for, audio and video work. So a lot of sound.
Hey Ben, try hopping back in and see if that'll work.
it's Space Mom.
It's the one oh God, don't even get me started on Space Mom.
It doesn't matter. It's Space Mom.
I know Space Mom's awesome, but she shouldn't have floated through space. Spoiler alert.
Shut up.
That was the dumbest part of the movie.
Yeah, I can't even defend that. I still like the movie though. I still like
but
The Last Jedi.
I
can't, but I can't defend the Space Mom. I really can't.
We're gonna have to review.
Did you like Last Jedi, Julie?
We're gonna have to review it on the later.
Me too.
Like that movie.
I liked it. Chris didn't like it. I liked it.
It's because okay. The problem with Chris is he is like such a stickler for the suspension of disbelief, and he's such a stickler for Star Wars, and like he's such a purist. He freaks out.
That's not entirely true.
Like I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan. I love the backstory. I'm like the one guy actually looking forward to the Mandalorian series that they're starting on Disney streaming.
Chris and I watched the original trilogy. He legit had a 10-minute soliloquy about how Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from episode 4 is not the same from episodes. He had this whole. I was like, dude, I don't care. Watch the fucking movie.
No, you want to get me fired up? We'll get fired up. Darth Maul should not have been killed.
Well, technically, he didn't get killed.
Don't even.
Technically, he came back to life.
Get killed.
What they did.
Technically, he came back to life.
Wait a minute. The high ground thing.
Well, that's what we're going to get into right now. The high ground. So,
well, technically, he came back to life. Hold on a sec. He never dead.
Let's not spoil that. If you haven't seen a certain movie, then I don't know what rock you've lived under. But if you're, I don't know. Not everyone here is a nerd. But the whole thing really aggravated me. Darth Maul was one of my favorite villains in the movies, not in the books. Although I guess Darth Bane doesn't count anymore. So, that's awesome. That's badass.
Oh my God, I'm done.
That's awesome.
Puts my shit to shame.
Puts everyone to shame.
I love Darth Maul, period. He's one of my favorite characters of all the audiobooks. Love Darth Maul. And he had the high ground. He had the high ground. Everyone says later on in episode, whatever it was, don't do it, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Oh!
There you go. William Shatner.
And
what happens to him? He gets all chopped to hell and burned, and he becomes Darth Vader.
Do you want to know what the problem is? And we've had this conversation, and we're going to continue to have this conversation. The problem with Darth Maul was he got too fucking cocky. That's the problem.
I agree. Same with Anakin. Anakin was too mad, and he let his anger. That's why.
Ground.
Anakin had the low ground.
No, they were even.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Darth Maul didn't see Obi-Wan coming to do that. When Obi-Wan and Anakin were doing that, No. Let me finish what I'm saying.
The fact that Darth Maul was.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Finish, John. Sorry.
Let me finish what I'm saying. The difference is
right back.
When Obi-Wan and Anakin were doing their thing, right? Obi had the high ground, and he knew because he trained Anakin. He knew Anakin was going to do that. He's like, I got a high ground, don't do it. And he did it. So he's already preparing. So that's why he was able to cut him. Darth Maul never prepared to do that to Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan surprised him. Anakin saw it coming.
He got surprised.
Obi-Wan saw Anakin coming. That's why he allowed it to happen. Okay, that's why.
John, that theory.
It's not a terrible theory. He knew. He's like, don't do it. I have the high ground. And he said, don't underestimate my power.
Darth Maul was the second strongest Sith at that time.
No, he's not.
At the time, he was.
At the time? No, Dooku. If you consider Dooku was Dooku a Sith at that time? No, maybe you are. Maybe it was.
At the time.
Grievous sucked.
Yeah, Grievous sucked for sure.
Yeah.
But
other robot have a code,
dude. Remember, there's only the rule of 2, or does that not count now that Disney owns it?
No, it's still a rule 2.
One of the coolest. You see, John, I don't know if you've ever listened or read any of the audio or the books on Darth Maul. They pussified.
I did.
in the movie. He's a lot more badass than the way they made him in the movie.
I mean, he killed Qui-Gon. I mean, he can't be more badass than killing Qui-Gon. He killed Qui-Gon, you know, and there's a lot of theories about that, but about Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn, but then he got his ass kicked by his apprentice, who is a moron in the movie. He's a moron. Because he had the low ground. He was hanging on the edge, going to fall into the tube.
But he didn't see it coming. He was so cocky. And when Anakin and Obi had their fight, Obi was like, I have the higher ground. Don't do it. He knew Anakin. He's like, don't do it. I have the higher ground. And Anakin literally said, do not underestimate my power. And he did the thing. So that's why he knew it coming.
John, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Also, you also have to consider, too, that
it's just shitty, lazy writing.
You know what?
Well, it's George Lucas.
You know what? I'm going to say something that you're not going to like. The worst one in the movie, in the original trilogy, I mean, I'm not the original trilogy, but 1, 2, and 3, was Yoda.
Oh, no, I agree.
Because Yoda,
how so?
Yoda bitched out. He decided he could have finished that fight. He could have fought to the death.
I don't think so. I don't think
he cut and ran and went in the hiding.
Like he was
Yoda.
He was CGI. It was weird, the inconsistencies.
Yoda.
I don't think Yoda could have beat Sidious. He should have tried. When it got too hot, he said, "Well, let me get the
this hole." And
must when he say must run.
He's like, fuck you are. Sorry for your luck. It goes.
Well, like, why did he need to go into hiding? He should have regrouped and came back.
Yeah, he went
because all the Jedi were dead. They were killing all the Jedi were dead. The Empire was too strong. I mean, Darth Vader. You know, I can go on. I love Darth Vader. He's my boy.
So he cut and ran, and then also
he had to. Because he had to. All the Jedi were pretty much killed at that point. They did a massacre, and all of the Jedi Council was dead. If you see the cutscenes, those are all Council members, all dead.
Tell me that
they raided the temple.
Right? Mace Windu goes to his posse, and he goes to take on Darth Sidious. How did they lose? I mean, because Sidious is pretty powerful. I get that, but Mace Windu was I forget which form it was. But he was supposed to be like the most badass.
Well, he had him beat. But Mace had him beat. He just didn't see Anakin coming to do that.
That's
Mace don't get me wrong. Mace had Sidious beat. Sidious was on the floor. He had him beat. But Anakin.
But did he?
Anakin came out of nowhere and cut his hand off. And by the way, Samuel L. Jackson wanted a crazy death. That's why he died like that. Because that's in his contract.
Hold on, real quick, Joseph. If you don't have a camera, can't you just come on with? Oh, there you go. Joseph, if you don't have a camera, can't you just come on audio only and just be a black screen?
That's a really good question. His best bet is he on a desktop, laptop, or a mobile?
Yeah, Ben, what are you on? PC. Okay.
Or tablet. PC?
Mm-hmm. I've seen you on camera before.
His best bet is to actually, if he's on PC, there is in the right top of his screen on Get Vocal when he's on the website, there's what's called a hamburger menu, the 3 lines. If he clicks on that, it says camera and audio and camera settings. When he chooses that, he can choose whichever camera, whichever audio setting he wants to do. And he should be able to come in with audio only. If that doesn't work, my recommendation would be either try a mobile platform like a tablet or a phone and download the latest version of the Get Vocal app, and that will allow him to come in as well. And it's not that much of a battery drain on his mobile device, so he should be able to hang out pretty good. But I'm on mobile right now, so, hopefully that answers the question. I would prefer maybe a mobile device. Sometimes if he doesn't have a camera, it can get a lot of fun. He only has an option.
I've seen people on there with just a black screen, and
that's how they're browsing in another tab.
Oh, okay.
When they're on a computer and they open up a new tab, If they don't have a profile picture set or whatever, it will go to a black screen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, man. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, going back to I still call out Yoda. I think he bitched out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in hiding. Okay, very good.
Right.
Why not? You lost. You have to go to hiding. You have to save. You have to. You have to. All the Jedi were dead. What are you gonna do? You're not beating. You're not beating at this point. You're not beating the Empire at this point. This was like the greatest master plan. You're not beating the Empire. This is master plan in like 20 years in the making.
What other hero of his stature has done that? Where they lose? They're like, well, I'm just gonna go in hiding and live out my days.
Give me a second. I'll think about this.
What was he in hiding for like 50 years? Like he was in hiding for a long ass time.
It almost feels like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna punk out. And I'm gonna wait till the offspring to show up and let him clean up this mess.
Well, here's the thing. If he dies, I think it just shatters because I think if he dies and they display his body, it's kind of like demoralizes the entire universe. There's no rebel or anything like that. I mean, that's my theory why he had to go into hiding.
What are you, a lawyer?
No, first of all, I'm a Sith. Darth Vader's my boy. He's my favorite Star Wars character of all time. So
why does that not surprise me? I like Darth Vader too.
Why does that not surprise? Because he's the coolest character of the whole. I haven't
read the Darth Vader.
As long as you don't. No. Hey,
first of all,
Darth Vader's cool as long as you don't count before he got in that suit.
John
before.
Okay, Chris. If you want to go the old
Bane
stuff,
where Darth Bane,
forget Darth Bane.
Right after the Sith,
he's good.
Hold on, Darth Bane literally brought the rule of two back.
Yeah, because he realized that. He realized that. Sorry.
And that's
the reason he did rule of two. Anymore. Well, Chris, the reason he did rule of two because he realized that more power. When you have more Sith, there's less power. So when he did the rule of two, there's more power within each Sith. But I like Darth Magnus more than Darth Bane. He's a badass.
Why do you like him more?
Because he's a crazy. You have to watch. He gets crushed by a mountain, and he uses the Force to keep him alive.
No,
it's crazy.
Darth,
found an old webcam.
I'm going to show you Darth Talon. You tell me that Darth Magdalene.
I think Darth Magnus is better. I think Darth Exar Kun is better.
Exar Kun, are you fucking? You know what?
Exar Kun is amazing. He's wielding. Oh my god,
that's Darth.
I like Darth Talon.
Have that come up on you, or Darth Magel Nuts or whatever you're calling the guy.
Magnus is a badass. Are you kidding? I'm gonna put a video. I'm gonna tag you in a video about Darth Magnus on Facebook. He's a badass.
Whatever you want.
Exar Kun is a badass. Even the
saber, and
even the Eternal twins are really good too.
Who?
I lost the conversation.
It's the crap. I'll tag you a video about it. It's like the new expansion they did for the Old Republic.
Does that even count?
And it's called like no, but I still count it.
Anymore. It's all been
nothing counts anymore. All right. Well, they're bringing it back, Chris, with the Mandalorian series.
How you doing, Ben? How's your audio?
I'm doing. I just want to make sure. Can you hear me pretty well?
I hear you good, man. Right. How's it going? Have you guys met Ben Tuttle?
No. Hello, Ben.
Nope.
Hi there.
Hello, Ben.
Ben Tuttle is going to be doing a show on animation.
Oh,
so he uses software called iClone, which I've tried to use it. I am definitely. I need a Ben Tuttle to help me navigate it. So, he's really good.
The beauty thing is that iClone has improved in the last. How long has it been since you messed with it?
Probably about 3 years.
Oh, maybe? It's made a huge jump. I'm trying to wonder if we have the ability to share screens, because that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, maybe I could share screens or something and show you. Wow, we can make a character or something like that.
You know what? The only way to do that is if you use something like OBS or what's that thing called? I have it too.
Well, I have Shadow Play, but
like actually, I should use that. I have.
You have XSplit?
Yeah, I do have XSplit. Let me see.
But sorry. It's okay. But no, it's been a long time. Hey, it's since I've been on one of these.
Julie, you're here. Oh, yeah, Julie's here.
Oh, hi there.
Here.
So you still up in Minnesota, huh?
Yep, still am. You knows that. Got a completely different career field and everything. So, but however, I'm still playing with the iClone. I'm actually kind of making a comeback too. So,
what are you working on now these days?
Oh, production wise, or
yeah, are you doing any movies?
Oh yeah, I'm having a film scored right now and putting it up on Amazon. Remember that old Western Phantom?
Right, I remember that.
I'm remaking it basically, and it's a lot more meaner. And Warlord even said that. I think that film's really mean. But
who's in it?
Johnny. I am. Let's see. Warlord's in it. And then there was an opera like she sings opera or something in Toronto. And then I think there's one other guy, but he's a composer.
I'm gonna change to my XSplit. Hold on a second.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, I was actually about to say this for Star Wars. And the crazy thing about one thing about Star Wars is Kinte will back me up on this because he said I remember him saying the same thing. Star Wars actually ripped off Kurosawa, The Hidden Fortress.
Yeah,
but
I know that. I know he was inspired by that.
Well, I wouldn't say ripped off is a mean word because, I mean, to be honest, Lucas was not the only filmmaker doing that. Another famous one was Sergio Leone. But yeah, Star Wars did have a huge impact on the blockbusters, but I'll be honest with you. When it comes to, I mean, it's great filmmaking and everything, but in terms of like really like cinematic masterpieces, not really.
Well, it's not. It's not.